Sawadee Krap and welcome to another episode for the Funk It Pod from the emergency podcast studio here. Because if you're watching, you're seeing that I'm in a different, less comfortable spot while I'm moving around here to find my perfect position. Because the pollution is just still so bad here in Bangkok. Usually I record outside in my small little green corner. On the patio balcony, but yeah, the pollution it's worse than in weeks now. It's crazy. The pollution scale says 189, which is like dark red, and if you're a visual person, it says like unhealthy for everybody, unhealthy. So right now, if you go out with like a filtered mask, yeah, you can actually really visually like see it. You're like, I can't even look. I don't know. I can't see the horizon, so to speak. I mean, what you see is the horizon, but just like skyscrapers in Bangkok, and maybe I can see like, I don't know, 500 meters in the distance, but not more, which is crazy. So yeah, anyways, that's why different setting right now. The sound should be the same, maybe even slightly better because less the disturbance from the outside, but therefore my cats are around me, so you might hear some meowing in the background. But okay, now that is out of the way, let's talk about what I want to talk about. MediaProf reacts to and what I'm reacting to today. And you can, if you're watching the video, you see me like moving around with my body. I try to be calm, and you see me talking or hear me talking faster because I want to react to Chris Rock's live comedy special on Netflix, because I think it's a once in a lifetime. No, it's a new thing. It's a first time. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a first time thing, like a live comedy special, like not recorded live and then showing, but doing it live, like a live stream while recording that comedy, like a live concert, like just a comedy show live. Pretty cool idea. I mean, it's nothing super crazy because of course there are live comedy shows, but streaming it live is pretty cool. And I have a few thoughts on that. Not that I would be a stand-up comedian myself, even though my students would sometimes maybe say that. At least that I'm like a maybe they wouldn't call me a stand-up comedian, they would call me like a clown or something. But I do have a few ideas because, well, I teach media stuff, right? And so public speaking, even though sometimes I struggle with speaking on the podcast, media production, digital strategies, all of those things. But now when we apply to the stand-up comedy special and to like how Netflix produced it and how Netflix streamed it and so on, I think there are just a few interesting takeaways there. And I'm also a huge, as you probably know if you've followed the podcast for a bit, a huge stand-up comedy fan, obviously. And I was thinking about like doing like a podcast on that, but then it's going to be like, yeah, who are you to judge stand-up comedy, right? So, but yeah, so I found it very interesting. I think Chris Rock is great at what he does. Was it okay? Like, let's get the personal opinion out of the way, and then I talk about like those different aspects of the show, like the streaming experience, the podcast, the production, and so on. Right. So, personal opinion first. I think Chris Rock is awesome. Was it the best comedy special ever? No, it was not. Was it good? Nevertheless, yes, it was. In my humble opinion. So that's my personal opinion. It's out of the way. I'll try not to let it influence the rest of what I'm talking about too much, okay? Okay, so now from a storytelling point of view, that's also one of the things we teach a lot at university, right? Storytelling. From a storytelling point of view, I like it. I saw lots of like, especially like meme pages and like pop culture pages online, kind of like hating a little bit on Chris Rock. I'm not sure why this happened now. If Will Smith would have punched you in the face, you would also talk about it a year later. I'm just saying, right? So, I mean, it's Will Smith. It's the Oscars. I'm going to talk about it for the next 5 years if it gives me material. Just saying. All right. So, having that said, I'm not criticizing Chris Rock for coming out with a special that's centered around Will Smith punching him a year later. I read a lot like, it's a year later, move on, man. No, doesn't have to. It was a big event. It was the biggest thing for like a few months. So he's totally right to talk about it whenever, however he wants to. I also think that it was smart from a storytelling point of view, how he used it like at certain points in the special. So he didn't just get it all out of the system in the beginning. He was sprinkling it in between, right? And in the middle of the set, when he was talking about like, I have enough beef with rappers already, I don't need more. And he said like 2 times. That was nice, just a sprinkle in there. And then he went like full circle at the very end. So this is good storytelling there. Like he started in the beginning. So like when he said like, you think words hurt? You've never been punched in the face. So that was his opening premise. Then keeps talking a little bit more, then like different aspects, like family life, whatever. Then like I have enough beef with the rappers already. Sprinkled in, then moves on again, family life, and so on. And at the end, he goes like hardcore into Will Smith, which is nice, which is smart because it's like the clippable segment at the end, right? It's like when people remember, like, what? Now he's like hardcore, old school Chris Rock just laying into someone. And that also makes the story go full circle. So that makes sense to me. And from a storytelling point of view, I think well done. In the end, like when he had like this mic drop moment, it wasn't like a really mic drop moment, in my opinion. It could have been like a bit more like, bit more oomph. But still, I think it was well structured, well done. And especially for it being live, it was like well executed, in my opinion, the whole story part. I also, as you can see, I also try not to spoil with the jokes or anything, obviously. So that's why I'm like, try to talk around it a little bit, beat a little bit around the bush. But I think you get what I'm saying, right? So I think from a storytelling point of view, that was pretty well done. From production point of view, I think it was also well done. It was very basic, right? So it was a basic setting, a basic stage, like some lights in the background, like Netflix style. Fair enough. I was wondering how they're going to do it was just how they're going to use the cameras, because Chris Rock walks a lot, right? So that's why I was saying in the beginning, I'm moving my body so much because I talk about Chris Rock, because Chris Rock does not stand still, right? He walks around, he uses his body language is like very expressive. He yells a lot, but that's fine with the mic and everything. But I was wondering how do they do it with the camera? Because very often a stand-up special or stand-up comedy special is like the stand-up comedian either sits, stands, within a meter or so, maybe. Like I go a bit back and forth, they go to the left, to the right, have a bit of water, and then that's it. But Chris Rock was very physical, so the camera had to follow them. And it was very basic, so there was not some close-ups, sure, zooms in between, well done. But other than that, just panned out and then just following him on stage, which was fine, which totally worked, which is if you're watching a music, a concert. What's the thing called, the music thing, a concert? It's like watching a concert, right? So I think that's all you needed, because, the star is not the production, the star is Chris Rock and what he has to say. So I think that was well done, well executed. Could the cuts have been better at times? Maybe. The transitions maybe a little bit smoother, but overall, that's not what you expect from a comedy special. You don't want super effects or whatever. No one's judging it based on transitions. You judge it based on the content, and therefore, I think the production was fine. Let Chris Rock shine. Nothing went wrong. All good. Audience-wise, the audience seemed to be really into it. The audience was but if you go to such a thing, you're ready to laugh, right? You're I want to see Chris Rock and I want to be entertained, and I like Chris Rock and he's going to be funny. So the audience obviously was very appreciative of Chris Rock, but the laughs came at the right point. It sounded well. It sounded good, actually, also via the stream, right? Sometimes the laugh doesn't really fit. Andrew Schulz talked about this a lot, you have to pace the joke so that the laugh also hits at the right time, and there's no pause that's too long in between. And I thought that was very well done. So the pacing was very well done of the special, of the content by Chris Rock. That was awesome. So yeah, overall, I think it was a perfect execution of a live stream, of a live event, and that leads me to thinking maybe Netflix should do this more often, because Netflix clearly has the capabilities, obviously, right, as a streaming service to do live streaming. They have the technology, the technical background. They have the people that are able to do it. So why not do it more often? I think that's a great idea. So I'm looking forward to more live content on Netflix. I think that could be something that could also set them apart. Now, other streaming providers might think the same, and they're like, yeah, let's jump into the live streaming service as well. Let's do more live events. But I think that's what could boost any streaming service provider, be it Netflix, HBO, whatever that might be. I think live events could really be something to boost those streaming providers, in my opinion. So yeah, the war on streaming and streaming war and so on, I think live events could be something now everyone's looking into, because let's be honest, we like live events. And the cool thing is you can watch it after. If you didn't catch it live, you can rewatch it again. Now it's on Netflix, right? It's awesome. It's perfect. So if you have the chance to be live with your friends, with a community, you can live tweet at the same time. You can share insights, thoughts, and so on. And it's awesome. But if you can't, different time zones, whatever, work, whatnot, you just watch it right after. It's right after Netflix. Not like a football match. You have to DVR it. Otherwise, it's gone, right? So this is not just gone; it's right there. I think it's a perfect opportunity for more interactive, creative content. Bring a community in. It's something that's important, anyways, for engagement. So I think why not? So I'm looking forward to more live content there. I think, that's a great opportunity. So that's my thoughts on Chris Rock. Like very short, because I don't want to mess things up with the jokes or spoil anything. I think it was funny. I was laughing a lot. Was it like hardcore belly laughs? No. Was it like laughing like, ha, that was funny? Yes. Certain aspects maybe went on for a little bit too long. The thing about the family, daughter, and so on, maybe this was a bit too much. But hey, that's fine. The Will Smith stuff was like used as like a storytelling tool, more or less, like to start things off, because everyone was waiting for it, to sprinkle it in between, and then to go full circle at the end, to bring it all back again. Well done, well executed. Good on Chris Rock for doing this. The live stream worked very well. I'm looking forward to more of those live events, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of Chris Rock now doing stand-up again as well. So I hope he has more appearances everywhere. I hope you'll see more of him in the media, wherever he might pop up, maybe on some podcasts, who knows. Looking forward to this. Overall, I was happy with that 1 hour. I was also the perfect length, in my opinion. It doesn't need to be longer, so I was happy. It was like an hour, then it's done. Great pacing, great timing, all good. Thanks for that. So Chris Rock. So let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on the Chris Rock special? Also, great title, by the way, and how he explained the title towards the end. Fantastic. So that was great storytelling too. Let me know what you think. Like, do you agree that like lots of those pop culture meme pages out there, like the Grand Wizard, if you follow, for example, was laying into Chris Rock, while also picking him up when he talked about Will Smith's wife, though, which was also kind of interesting. But yeah, there's lots of hate there online, but also lots of people coming to the defense of Chris Rock. It was funny, it was great, blah, blah. So what do you think is my question? And I have to end this podcast now because I want to talk more slowly again. But if you talk about Chris Rock, you have to talk like Chris Rock. So let me know your thoughts on Chris Rock, on the special, on the live streaming experience. Did it work for you? Didn't it work for you? Would you do this more often, or would you watch things like this more often? Would you pay for that? For example, as always, like, share, subscribe, follow at FunkitPod on social media, funkitpod@gmail.com if you want to say something nice. Rate this podcast if possible. Until then, well, as always, stay funny. I said like, share, subscribe. Take care, stay safe, and we'll talk very soon. Sawadee Krap.